There's this idea that's as old as storytelling itself. A door, sealed shut for a reason so powerful, so important, that it's been left untouched for centuries, sometimes even millennia. It's not just a locked door. It's a permanent, unbreakable barrier between our world and something else.
Right, let's unpack this a bit. This idea, which is captured so well here, isn't just something out of a fantasy novel. It really speaks to this deep, almost primal human feeling that some things are closed off for our own good, to protect what's inside, or maybe a little more chillingly, to protect us from what's inside.
Because here's the thing, what happens when that door isn't just a story? These doors, they're not just folklore, they exist, they are real, physical barriers in ancient tombs, temples, and monuments all around us, silently daring us to find out why they were sealed in the first place.
And we're not just talking about one or two mysterious spots either. We're talking about a worldwide phenomenon. From India to Egypt to China, humanity has this long, fascinating history of sealing places away, creating these permanent locks that defy not just keys, but time itself.
Okay, so just look at this. It's a global thing. In India, you've got a vault that's supposedly sealed shut with sacred mantras, a spiritual lock. Then you jump over to Egypt, and it's all about not damaging the Sphinx, a totally practical reason. And the Taj Mahal, it's about chemical risks to the precious marble. But then China? Now that's a wild mix of both. This deep desire to preserve priceless artifacts, and a very real fear of what ancient booby traps might be waiting inside. It just goes to show this is a universal human impulse, but with so many different reasons behind it.
All right, so let's rewind the clock. Why on earth would you go to all this trouble to seal something away forever? Well, for the ancients, this wasn't just about security or putting a lock on a door. It was about creating a permanent, absolute separation between the world of the living and the realm of the dead.
Man, this account from the ancient historian Shimakan, it's just bone-chilling to read. He's talking about the tomb of China's very first emperor, Qin Shi Huang. And this just perfectly shows the mindset here. This was a place you were never supposed to enter again. The seal wasn't just a door, it was a fortress designed to kill.
I mean, just wrap your head around the scale of this. We're talking about automated crossbows set to fire on anyone who walks in, rivers of poisonous mercury, and they even built a replica of the heavens and the earth inside. And then, in this final just brutal move, they sealed the workers inside with it. The whole point was to make it permanent, to basically wipe the entrance off the map.
Now, this idea of a perfectly preserved time capsule brings us to Egypt, to 1922. Picture it, archaeologist Howard Carter is standing right at the entrance to King Tut's tomb. For more than 3,000 years, nobody had touched it. You can just imagine the whole world was holding its breath, wondering what was behind a door that had been sealed for millennia.
And here's the kicker. When Carter got inside, he found the seals on the inner shrines were unbroken. Think about what that means. This wasn't just a pile of treasure. It was a perfect time capsule. He was literally the first person to lay eyes on it since the ancient priests sealed it shut, preserving a pharaoh's journey into the afterlife exactly as they had intended. It was a direct, unbroken line to the past.
But that was 100 years ago. Fast forward to today, we've got technology they couldn't even dream of. So why are so many of these doors still closed? Well, it turns out we've become the new lock keepers, and our reasons for hesitating are more complicated than ever before, blending science, ethics, and a really deep sense of responsibility.
And this right here, this is the central conflict, the real heart of the modern debate. It's like this tug of war inside all of us. On one hand, you have that deep, powerful human curiosity, the need to know what's in there, to solve the puzzle. But on the other hand, there's this heavy duty to preserve it, and the scary realization that the very act of discovery can also be an act of destruction.
There's a guiding principle in archaeology today, and it's called in situ. It just means in its original place. See, an artifact isn't just an object. Where it is, what's around it, that's all part of its story. The second you move it, you lose that context. Poof, gone forever. The story gets changed.
And believe me, these risks are not just theoretical. They are very, very real. A perfect, heartbreaking example is the Terracotta Army. When they were first dug up, they were covered in these vibrant, beautiful colors. But almost instantly, as soon as our air hit them, the paint just flaked away into dust. The very thing that kept them perfect for 2 millennia was that sealed environment. Opening a door like that can be like throwing open a furnace door. That rush of modern air can just torch the history we're trying to save.
And then you have to stop and think about the ethics of it all. This is a big one. These weren't just treasure vaults. They were tombs. They were sacred spaces meant for eternal rest. As this quote points out, it's pretty hard to imagine any pharaoh agreeing to have their body dug up and put on display in a museum. And yet, that's exactly what happened. Today, you can go to the Cairo Museum's mummy room and see the remains of 19 pharaohs and 5 queens just lying there under glass. It's a really stark contrast, right? And it forces you to ask a pretty uncomfortable question. How do we square their wish for eternal rest with our hunger for knowledge? Does our curiosity give us the right to just ignore their most sacred beliefs? So, this is what it all boils down to. We're standing at the threshold of these ancient, sealed doors. We have the technology, we have the tools to open them. The question isn't, can we anymore? The question is, should we? And what's the real cost of that knowledge?
Okay, now let's be fair. There are some really compelling arguments for opening these places. The potential for scientific knowledge is huge. Learning about past cultures, tech, you name it. And of course, these discoveries are massive for tourism and the economy. Heck, sometimes carefully opening a site is the only way to save it from things like earthquakes, or even worse, from looters who just tear it apart for a quick buck.
But it always comes back to this. Do we actually have the right? Just because millennia have passed, does that give us ownership over someone else's final resting place? Does our desire to learn trump their desire to be left in peace? There's just no easy answer to that.
So in the end, that's the choice we face. It's this profound decision between enlightenment and restraint. It's up to us to decide if every single mystery has to be solved, or if maybe, just maybe, the greatest sign of respect we can show the past is to acknowledge that some doors were sealed for a reason and to let them stay that way.